You ever have those times where you're trying to make a decision and you just can't figure out what's the right decision because you got the goods, the bads, the uglies, you got the why and the fork, trying to figure out which way to go? Well, today we're going to talk about some easy ways to figure that out. Welcome back to the Marcus Allgood Show. I appreciate everybody listening and watching. Hopefully, I bring you some good advice today, get you some clarity, get you some good decision making skills. So, today we're going to be talking about decision making skills, improving clarity, and reducing regret. One of the hardest things you could do is make the decision and then regret it 5 minutes later. Or, buyer's regret, all sorts of different regret that you have afterwards because you don't know if you made the right decision or not. So, we're going to talk about decision making and how it's one of life's most critical skills, significantly impacting happiness, success, and overall fulfillment. Effective decision making reduces stress, increases productivity, and leads to greater satisfaction with life choices. Poor decision making, conversely, often leads to regret, anxiety, and missed opportunities. Mastering this skill means clear thinking, reduced uncertainty, and more confident, purposeful living. Clarity is key. I've often talked to myself about how to get clear, how to figure out if I am clear. But a lot of the gurus will talk about getting clear and they don't really say much about it. But clearly defining what you want and why you want it reduces confusion. And this is the main thing right here. Like, you have to clearly define what you want and why you want it. Because if your why is not strong enough, it is not going to matter what you actually want. If you want this, let's just say a red Corvette, and your why is just to go out there and showboat it, probably not going to be a strong enough why to get it. Maybe tie it to a certain goal. If you reach, I make $100,000 in the next 6 months, you could go out there and get the Corvette. Like, tie it to a goal that you're willing to go out and succeed to get. Emotional intelligence, understanding emotions, helps distinguish between between intuitive signals and impulsive reactions. Values and alignment. Decisions aligned with your personal values and long-term goals typically yield the best outcomes. Trying to go against your values is really hard, and it's probably not going to work out for you. It's never worked out for me, for sure. The power of perspective, considering multiple viewpoints, helps avoid blind spots and impulsiveness. That's where a mentor or your friend or somebody that's already been where you want to go talk to them and get their viewpoint and find out what you're missing, what you're not seeing, and what it is that you need to do to get clear and find out what your why and what your purpose is. Decisiveness, the ability to commit to a decision confidently. Reducing stress is going to be it is one of the main things that you need to do. And you don't want to have the regret over the long run of the term. You want to be as decisive as you can. You got to make every decision and make it stick. You can't let it linger over you, and you can't let yourself stress out over it, and you can't let the regret build up. So, some practical steps and some strategies. Define clearly. Clearly outline the decision, the options available, and the potential outcomes. You can take it all the way down to the worst case scenario. Normally, the worst case scenario would be that you died. Oh, well. I'm not saying oh, well, but that's the worst case scenario. So everything else is actually a positive outcome from everything that you can do besides dying. But the next, one of the other worst case scenarios, you could make the wrong decision by buying the wrong car, putting yourself into the wrong position, putting into the wrong financial tool that you thought was going to be the right one, going after the get rich quick scheme, all sorts of different things. But you got to define the outline. You got to outline the decision. Are you going to do it? You got to list it out. Going on to the next thing, the list of pros and cons. Evaluate the benefits and drawbacks systematically. Write a big old T at the top. Grab a piece of paper, write a T, write cons, write pros, and just start listing them all out. Once you start going, your brain's going to start telling you more and more cons, and then it's going to start telling you more and more pros of what the decision is. And if you have more cons on the left side then the right side of the pros, don't don't do it. Go out, go try and find something else to go do. Consider the long-term effects. Think beyond immediate outcomes. Weigh future implications. The delayed gratification. Think about what's going to happen in the future. If I do this, what will happen next? Don't go too deep into it because you're going to get anxiety thinking the world's going to end. Set deadlines. Define timelines to avoid procrastination and maintain momentum. Seek advice. Consult mentors, trusted peers, or experts for valuable external insights. I consult people all the time. I think it's a very, very strong way to do it. But definitely go out. Don't talk to people that have never done it. Try and figure out the people that have done it and go talk to them and figure out if this is what you want to do. Trust your intuition. Trust that gut feeling. Pay attention to your gut feeling, but balance it with logical reasoning. That gut feeling is strong, and it can tell you a lot. I've made a lot of bad decisions by not listening to that gut feeling. And it's just one of those, like, sometimes you see the good in the person, but you know deep down inside something's wrong. But you give them the option, you give it the try anyways, and normally you end up regretting it. Listen to your gut, but also logical reasoning. Common challenges and solutions. Fear of making the wrong choice. We all have that. My daughter has it big time. But remind yourself that no decision is flawless. Focus on learning and adjusting as needed. Not every decision can be perfect. No decision's perfect. You might win some, you might lose some, but none of them are going to be perfect and none of them are going to be flawless. You just have to learn from it and adjust from there. Analysis by paralysis. Limit decision criteria and set clear time limits for analysis. Don't sit there and Google for hours and hours and hours and hours and days and days and days. Next thing you know, it turns into months, turns into a year, turns into a few years, and you haven't even done it. And now you're on, someday I'll, hanging out. Someday I'm going to do this, and you just never pull the trigger. Influence of emotions. Pause to acknowledge emotions without allowing them to fully dictate your choices. Take time for emotional clarity before deciding. Think about it more of as a business decision and not as a personal decision. Don't let your emotions cloud your judgment. Like if you got pros and cons and your cons are super long and your pros are super short, don't say I want to do it because I want to try it out. Go what the paper says and make the logical decision and say the cons are too risky. I'm not going to do it. Regret and second guessing. Accept that every decision carries risk. Commit fully and recognize that decisions are opportunities for growth, not absolute verdicts. We can grow from every decision that we make. Every time, if you're not growing from the decisions, then you're doing something wrong. I made a bad decision the other day. I did not send a house to one of my buyers, and he put it under contract the next day. But that's my fault. I didn't send it to him because I was second guessing whether he was going to like it or not. And the lesson I learned is send it to him anyways. He'll make the decision. Don't make the decision for him. Overwhelming information. Narrow down information sources and prioritize quality over quantity. Quality is going to be quantity every time. Doesn't matter if you're selling houses, lifting weights, trading stocks, anything. Like the quality is always going to be better over quantity. All right, so another inspirational story. Steve Jobs famously emphasized clarity and decisiveness in decision making. In a commencement speech at Stanford, he talked about using mortality as a guide. Remembering that you are going to die is the best way to avoid the trap of thinking you have something to lose. Jobs consistently prioritized clarity over vision, over short-term convenience, or popular opinion, often making difficult decisions that align strongly with his long-term purpose. His clarity, decisiveness, and willingness to stand by his choices helped shape Apple into a revolutionary company. Improving decision-making skills is a transformative journey. With clarity, aligned values, and the courage to act decisively, you'll consistently make choices that enrich your life, minimize regret, and propel you toward greater success and happiness. That's the pod. I appreciate everybody listening. If you got any value out of this, send it to a friend and let me know. Thanks a lot. Bye.